Okay, I just got back from the hallways. I was hearing these perps try to to box in this retardation. These people truly have sold their soul, and you know, I can see why they enjoy this. I'm sure the incentives are more than financial. The empowerment of be able to manipulate people is special, and I hear them and see how bottom feeders they are. But I'm not gonna let them escape. I know they're nobodies in regard of this program, and they just, they can be replaceable. But for me, it's important for these people involved in this to know what they sold their soul to and what they are: trash, human low life. And I see them as that. And I have no problem bringing that up. You know, certain things I'm gonna say is gonna sound insane because they truly want to push you into this level of retardation. They have no self-respect, so they have no shame. And I'm not saying to be prideful is good. Not being prideful is not being, it's not good. It's not good to be too proud to be, but there is a level of self-respect that needs to be had by every human being. That helps you look at yourself in the mirror and respect yourself. Once you go below that, you can never respect yourself. You lose self-respect. And I see them, for the bottom feeders, as empowered as they feel, at the cost of self-respect. Now, I'm not here being preachy just for no reason, but it's just humiliating. If you hear what I'm going to say, you're going to hear the level of stupidity they want you to be subscribing to. And that's their job. They truly are supposed to get you to accept this nastiness. Because today, you're no longer yourself. And they want you to be accepting of these fantasies they put together. Listen, I know what's happening to me is going to be horrible, but I will not want to trade places with these people doing what they do. I could not look at myself in the mirror. Not that I'm a prideful man. I don't have that much, I'm not a prideful man in the regard of I don't need to be seen as, matter of fact, it makes me feel uncomfortable to think that people think I'm something better, like in the sense of like I'm better than you. I hate that feeling. Matter of fact, I can't even minimize myself because I'm not the kind of person who like the spotlight. But to hear these bottom feeders right now in the hallways try to box in what I'm going to say, it's embarrassing. But that's why I'm always thankful to God. I've been clear that I know these entities, as much as they manipulate you today as a target individual, the reality of what the issue in these agencies are so disturbing. It is such a disturbing issue, knowing that these entities are so pedophilia-centric. But these people have no shame to then try to create this fantasy, utilizing this illogicalness. They've been empowered by what this technology is capable of doing, so I understand. But they will not have that delusion subscribed to, identified. I will not let them live that fantasy. You sold your soul and your children's soul to pedophiles. I went in the hallway and I said, I'm pretending I'm on the phone. Yeah, they sold these children to pedophiles. So now they're here doing these things. I'm sure the financial aspect is probably great, but there's maybe other things. Because the people who put me in this program are extremely conservative. They're very influenceable people. And so they've been trying to make me believe that all along they saw this thing, this what I'm experiencing today, they map you out and everything else. It's just so stupid. They just try to paint this picture so today what I'm experiencing can be subscribed to. Because they sold their children. They tell me how they're going to frame me using their own children. And so they want to make themselves believe that, no, accept the reality. Whatever you got out of it, enjoy it. But it's not for free. And no self-respected mother or father would force their children, not even force, coerce their children to be involved in this. Matter of fact, you do the opposite. You're like, no, stop. Go, use other people. Don't use my children. But this trash. No, we dared. And so today, listen how humiliating it is. They're making me think when I used to live in Chicago. I used to live in this area of Chicago where it's very like hipster. area, and there was a bunch of coffee shops and restaurants, and it was like people were young professional, and I was young professional at the time. Um, Went to for drinks, for coffee, for restaurants, and it was a very popular place. And at the time, I was dating somebody. And there was a time when me, her, would go to this like restaurant, and there would be like a couple in front of me. And this couple was about the same age as us, maybe a little late 20s or something like that. Now you can see the back of the head. Now I'm not perfect. I've looked at a woman in sexual ways. And so, I kind of looked down to see, what the couple, specifically the woman, the young woman who's about my age, looks like. From the back, though. You can't see the front. You see the back. She's about like a 5'5" or so, typical size of a woman, and she's with a couple, like she's holding hand with a guy or something like that. It's like a couple thing. So I kind of look, even though I was in a relationship, I kind of look, and in my head, please let me just repeat that from the back. In my head, they tried to make me imagine, no, she was underage. And you hear this trash, no, settle, we're gonna get you. Now, and by the way, this is a area where it was very, it was gentrified. So the young adults mostly, young adults, the young professional mostly, I would say white. But it was a gentrified place where this, and so they're like, no. Try to make me imagine now from this person from the back. It almost make me feel like I need to like look at somebody who's like 26 years old, 27 years old from the back, what they look like. To make me like stop imagining this person to be, because they can create imaginations. And I'm like, wow, this is what these people have made you do now? You have gone to that level. You have gone to this level for whatever incentives. You're not at war, obviously. You're just part of this program that's supposed to make somebody accept these manipulations. That's your job. If you're at war, you'll be in danger. You're not. If anything, I want to see what somebody like you looks like. You're just at war with self-respect, and you're not winning. Reality is what they can create. And I know these people who are perhaps powerless in other things, in this feeling of feeling empowered, of being able to orchestrate and manipulate me, as easy as it is, to them it feels special. They sold their children to pedophiles, and now they are here making this noise. It's so embarrassing. They know this thing is going to come back. I'm not, listen, they're looking back at when I speak about the obvious things. It's so easy to make yourself believe you're a genius because you are the only one who can speak about the reality of things. They know the reality much more than me. They know this. They have to dumb themselves down. They know they have to play this gimmicky. Some of them actually laugh when they do that. That's when I know, it's like, oh, these people really know. They really know. It's not even like they really, really know that this is part of this gimmick. But I see some of them, they don't even want, they know, but they're like, oh, I went too far. I sold my kids. Now I have to make, no. You just sold your children to that. Not the humiliation after humiliation. Not only these people are run by pedophiles. The people who put me in this program donated money to somebody who allegedly was picking up kids, actual children. Not some people, they try to make me imagine children from the back of their head. In my head, it's like, no, but if you see, maybe, like, you can see from the back of the head, they could be like, oh, Jesus. From their back, you can. It is so pathetic. But this is what life has gone for them. This is why you see this title. From the back, they look like. From the back of the head. This is things they orchestrate to torment me with. I have no problem. If this is something that's orchestrated, please let me speak. I want this to be highlighted in their life. That they truly have accepted to dumb themselves down to this level. That they have accepted to be so disrespectful to themselves. I'd rather starve to death than do what they do. I'm not a prideful person. I would have done any job in my life. I could do everything. I could go scrape toilets. I could go anything. But doing what they do is just the most disgusting things. Today, I can't do the things I'm saying because I understand I'm no longer living the regular life. But if I had the option to do anything I want, I'd rather go clean toilets. I'd rather work in every environment where I don't have to because I respect people who can go and work dealing with shit than do what they do. No matter how comfortable it is. This is people who are pathetic, but they don't even know they're pathetic. They love to call themselves gods. I'm like, please continue, please. Please, it does not agitate me at all. I am all for people like you calling yourself gods. All for it. All for it. Go say, all the time. All the time. You see how you be so God. It's like, man, it makes me happy actually. Didn't know why. And so, especially when they're like childlike, I'm like, oh, please, yes. Yes. One thing you have not seen so far is how God shows who's God. For me, it's done. I've accepted that. For them, for them, it's just like, okay, TBD. So it's important for me as a target individual to maintain reality. They have the ability to do these imaginations that are just like any way they want to. Anyway, they can make me imagine anything. Can you imagine bringing back a memory of me and my ex-girlfriend walking behind this couple from the back, and me having like, kind of looking. I'm not perfect. One thing is for sure, I'm not perfect. So kind of like looking, we see had this adult woman in front of me with her boyfriend, what they look like, what she looks like. So kind of like looking at her up and, just keeping, and so that's reality. And now they're like, no, and try to make noise campaign. No, that's because what's happening today? They have these little kids, little teenager, and they have this weird walk. And I'm like, I know you're a little fucking kid. They're having this little awkward, it's so sad. And today, the reason why they do that, if it was me, myself, and these little kids just walking like this, oh, look, okay, good, yeah. But today, I look up. Because they can make me look at these kids in a way that is not natural. And these little kids know. I'm talking about little teenage kids. Ugh. We have this, it's like how crackheads walk. It's just that weird, and it's like, ugh. And they know it doesn't take much. My brain is manipulated to perceive children in whatever way they want. So they try to go back, and so they try to make me think of like adults, that they can make me imagine them not being adults because from the back of the head. From the back. You see. It is what they do. I gotta be strong. I gotta understand that they are going to do whatever they need to. But the reality is just like if they were doing this and there was not this track record that the entities that contract them, that employs them, that gives them the ability to be gods are actually pedophiles. And I'm sorry, but I shouldn't say actually. There is a nasty pattern that those entities have problem with pedophilia. They were ranked in 2018 as sharing the most child pornography. Sharing the most child pornography within the network of Department of Defense. It's humiliating. And then the people who put me in this program literally donating money to a man who allegedly was picking up kids as young as 35 years old. I'm sorry, him as 35-year-old, picking up kids as young as 14 years old. Being banned from the YMCA. They can't even say his name. And so they're making me imagine this person from the back of the head being underage. You heard it. This technology has the ability, and I know what I am. I'm a test subject in this program. And they can do whatever they want. But their goal, the reason why they're making this noise campaign, is because they want you to accept these manipulations. Because the truth is, I need to be manipulated to think this way. And their job is to get you to accept these manipulations. It is purely humiliating for people to try to gaslight you this way. They have no shame. They have no self-respect. I was like, yeah, let's make him believe this way. And it was since some ages, and now she's like, whoa. It's obvious. And in my head, they're really like, no, she's 60 years old. And try to make me think that to be true. Because they have the ability to do this. When there's obviously two adults. But because the back of the head, they can make any kind of person be whatever. I'm almost tempted to look at the back of the head of a 27-year-old woman. It is humiliating. And for me, I'm like, okay, you can make me imagine that, but it's not true. It's not. But I understand you can make me imagine anything. So this young professional in the mid-20s, man and a woman, together as a couple, you're trying to make me imagine, because I was behind them, to be underage kids. From the back of the back of the heads. This is what it has become. Let me repeat. From the back. What you see from the back. Try to make me imagine looking at the back to be underage. Because today, they are framing me and using these underage kids, which are their kids, their own kids. They are coercing their own children. And they're like, no, they'll rape you. Because they're trying to make me believe that the person from the back of their head was underage. They have no shame. And because today, these little kids are walking, I'm like, oh my gosh, get these little kids away from me. No shame. And they're openly sending their little retards. It's like, no, it won't be. They use these tactics of trying to disorient you and manipulate you while making you acceptive of whatever manipulation they make you experience. And creating these narrations that are so delusional and pathetic. But because this is consistently happening, they truly are trying to break you down. But what happens is when you see these people in person, you're like, can you imagine you're the dumbass? Sorry. You have stooped to this level. You think I'm going to let you live your fantasy? Let me repeat this. To embarrass them, not to embarrass them, but to provoke them, I guess. Because provocation to them is reality. When I used to live in Chicago, there was this area where there's a bunch of restaurants, coffee shops, a few stores, and there was a couple in front of me and my girlfriend at the time. And like I said, I'm not perfect. And they're walking in front of us. This is an environment where there's a lot of young professionals. Can you imagine just restaurant, coffee shop? And they tried to make me imagine that that couple in front of me was underage. This is how pathetic it is. Right now, these perps contracted by these governmental entities are opening the door, making the noise campaign, and tell me how they're gonna be raging. This humiliation. I can't wait to see these people. That all I want to see is see their faces. I want to let me see. What's the life like? Let me see the face of these guards. They come up speaking all different language. You're gonna do this and that. It's like, oh mon Dieu. This is your life. To try to get you to accept this false reality. And it's like, no, we're minding. Look, they're looking. The back of the head now. It's like, no, I see best on the... They make me imagine, no, but you see, you can make me imagine anybody from the back of the head. They have no shame. But for me, I'm thankful for this kind of things because it validates me. Because reality is, this is what... This is reality.
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flickr, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security suites. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible.
And they try to make me believe somebody I saw from the back of the head is underage. You understand the humiliation of the world they're in? Can you imagine being contracted by entities like this? And your job right now is to make somebody believe that somebody that you looked at from the back of the head is underage. And like, no, they are. It's like, oh my goodness. This is what humiliation looks like. Whatever's going to happen to me, I'm just thankful that kind of humiliation is not what I went through. I'd rather be tortured the way they tell me I'm going to be tortured than having to live this life. I couldn't even look at myself. I couldn't. I wouldn't have that. I couldn't like deal with this. It's just too much. And they tell me how they're gonna rape me because they're gonna frame me using their children. So they're gonna rape you. And they think the way they're gonna act, they act with this fake passion. It's like, no, they're gonna get raped you. Oh my gosh, it's like, Jesus. And you put that much energy in your bullshit. You'll be blessed for sure. For anybody who involved in this, the level of humiliation is crazy. You'll see that. I think I have to create a thumbnail, specific, a cover of specific for this, a cover of this video. It's embarrassing, and they're like, "No, we mapped it." To all my target individual, that's why I say, as a target individual, we deal with these insanities of this program. But can you imagine if you were doing what they do? Can you imagine that was your life right now? Can you imagine like you had a moment where you had to do these things? Can you imagine that it was you with these humiliations to try to counter the reality? These people they work for entities that were ranked as top tier in regards to sharing child porn, and they try to talk about somebody they want me to imagine to be underage from the back of the head. I wish I had more picture, but you gotta understand the people doing that are people like that. I wish I had more people, because that's not only them, but people. It's humiliating. So my target individual, stay strong.